Welcome back, everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to make cheap and realistic looking trees for your wargaming table using natural materials. I recently was at a hobby store and I was walking through the floral section and I noticed they had a bunch of these dried flowers and garlands and things. And I noticed, you know what, some of the twigs in this bouquet actually would make a good armature for a tree. So I went ahead and bought it. It was like $3 for this entire bundle here. And I got home and I was looking at it and I noticed, hey, this kind of looks familiar. This is actually what Woodland Scenics uses to make their leaf foliage line. They just take dried plant material and put on some flock on there and slap a price tag of about $15 on there. Here's what you can buy in stores. So you can make your own shrubs and foliage doing kind of what I'm doing here. So I just took one of these fronds, one of these twigs, and I'm going to spray paint it espresso brown as kind of the base color for the trunk of our tree. I'm not going to bother to get off all those little petals and buds off of it. I'm going to cover that up with some polyfiber here in a moment, so I won't even worry about it. You won't be able to see it in the final product. So to make the structure of my tree, I'm going to be using green polyfiber, again, from Woodland Scenics. You can go to a fabric store and buy polyfiber on your own, but you'll have to dye it green. So I just spend a few extra bucks and get it from Woodland Scenics. And I'm going to spread it really thin and put it across all those little branches and buds that are coming off of this twig to give a nice full body to our tree. I'm spreading it nice and thin because what I like to do is after I add my flock, I go in with tweezers and kind of make little holes and spread apart some of the polyfiber so you can see into the body of the tree. I think it looks a little bit more realistic. But the great thing about polyfiber is it's so malleable that you can keep it as thin or as thick as you want to give different bodies and silhouettes to your trees. So I'm just going to wrap this around the entirety of the tree, and then all we'll have to do is flock it and we'll just about be done. Very quick, easy, and a good looking tree in the end. And here I've sprayed down the polyfiber with some spray adhesive, and now I'm just going to add my flock to the tree. I'm using medium green, the coarse flock by Woodland Scenics, and putting it over the entirety of the tree. And if you're not quite happy with the silhouette that you get after you're done flocking it, you can always go back and spray some adhesive onto your tree and add some more polyfiber. So I didn't really like how it looked. I thought it wasn't full enough on one side, so I just sprayed it down again. Added some more polyfiber. I'll reflock that area and I'll get more of the look that I was going for. And after I'm done with this step, I'm going to add a highlight layer of flock to my tree using the blended green fine turf from Woodland Scenics, just dropping it over the top. It has a nice mixture of light green and yellow in there to really bring out some depth to the tree. So I'll sprinkle that all around it. And so now we have to base the tree. So I took a 50mm piece of MDF, I drilled a hole through the middle with a hand drill, and now I'm going to adhere this branch to the MDF with some green stuff. And it will also add some needed durability to the trunk of this tree. The biggest downside of using these natural materials is they are much more fragile, obviously, than Woodland Scenics armatures, which are made out of wire and plastic. But you can make hundreds of these trees for the same price as maybe 10 Woodland Scenics armatures. So in the end, it's really cheap, but you will have to be careful. I am planning on magnetizing all the trees I make like this and storing them in a fashion where I know they won't get smashed. So you do have to keep that in mind. So if you want a really durable tree, this might not be the answer. I'm going to also be applying some super glue to the base as kind of one way to help ensure that those twigs don't snap. But for me, the price and the overall aesthetic that you get at the end is worth being a little bit more careful with these trees. So here you will see me applying that super glue all over the trunk. I'm not sure how much help this is actually going to be or how durable it will make these tree trunks, but it gives me a little peace of mind knowing I've added something to help with the durability. If you have any ideas of what you could use to help strengthen those little twigs, let me know in the comments. And so now I'm going to use my usual method of locking in my flock on my terrain, which is using my scenic spray, which is 3 parts water to 1 part Mod Podge that I put in a sprayer. I'm just going to spray it all over the top here. And when it dries, it will make this flock pretty hard, pretty durable. It won't fall off, and it really makes it pretty hard to actually get smashed even. And for a final layer of protection after the scenic spray dries, I'm just going to spray it with hairspray to turn that canopy almost rock hard. Alright, so this is a great way to ensure your trees don't lose their flock or get smashed. So here is the finished tree. If you notice, I actually trimmed off the top because I realized it was a little out of scale for my other trees and models. But I really like how this turned out. I think I'm going to be making a bunch more of these trees since I ran out of my woodland scenics armatures, and these look quite good in my opinion. Hopefully you pick something up from this video and you can go out and try and duplicate my efforts on your own. Maybe leave some comments down if you've done this yourself and have gotten some good results. But as always, please do hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and hit subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I will see you soon.